You know, for centuries, we've been fighting this secret war, a war against our own bodies. Yeah, I'm serious. From ancient rituals all the way to your morning coffee, it's all part of this endless fight to outsmart fatigue. Today, we're going to uncover how we were tricked into working forever. It all starts with a feeling we know way too well. That piercing sound, the pitch black room, that feeling of being a zombie. For so many of us, it's this daily ritual, this jarring, totally forced awakening. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are we the only species out there that actively picks a fight with its own biology? I mean, think about it. Other animals, they hibernate, they rest. We, on the other hand, invent new ways to ignore what our bodies are practically screaming for: sleep. And it's a fundamentally unwinnable fight. So, to really understand this fight, we have to start with the incredibly powerful biological clock that's ticking away inside every single one of us. Okay, so this system is our circadian rhythm, and it's supposed to be the law of the land, right? Deep inside the brain, there's this tiny master clock, and it handles everything from our body temperature to releasing melatonin, the hormone that basically tells us it's time to power down. But here's the thing. This internal clock isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. For teenagers, their clock actually experiences a natural shift, a phase delay that keeps them awake later. So for a teen, a 6 a.m. alarm isn't just early, it is the biological equivalent of waking an adult up at 4 in the morning. Ouch. So what's the real cost of this fight? Well, we're not just tired. We're actually robbing our brains of the deep sleep we need to learn new things, to lock in memories, and even just to regulate our emotions. The damage is very, very real. So if the biological cost is so high, how in the world have we managed to get away with it for so long? Well, for centuries, we relied on a little secret weapon. And this weapon, it wasn't a machine. It was an ancient sacred seed from West Africa, the kola nut. Originally, it was revered, called the food of the gods. But its power to energize would soon be twisted for a much, much darker purpose. Its potency is just incredible. The kola nut can contain double the caffeine of coffee beans. That's right, twice as much. It stimulates the central nervous system, pushing the body to work long, long past its natural limits. And the history of this nut, it reveals a pretty dark transformation. It went from being this sacred cultural object to a weapon, literally used by enslavers to force more labor. And eventually, its power was distilled and sold to the masses in products we all know. Its power to fight fatigue became legendary. I mean, these forced march tablets made from the kola nut were famously used by Ernest Shackleton's expedition to survive when pretty much all other resources were gone. It helped build a culture where relentless productivity was the ultimate goal. And believe it or not, this long history of chemically assisted labor has a direct, unbroken line to our modern, tired but wired culture. You see, this drive for constant work built our world on a foundation of what you could call invisible labor. It's all the exhausting, backbreaking work of unseen people creating this illusion of ease and grandeur for everybody else. The story of Alice from 1906 really puts a human face on this. Can you imagine spending over 12 hours a day on your feet, doing pointless tasks like washing tiles with milk, all for guests who would never even see you or acknowledge your work? And we see this legacy all around us today. A whole generation of young people are chugging frappuccinos and energy drinks, which are basically the direct descendants of those early kola nut tonics, to compensate for public policies like early school start times that completely ignore their biological needs. But is there another way? What if the goal wasn't just endless productivity? History actually offers a really fascinating alternative. The story of Edo, Japan, what we now call Tokyo, shows a totally different path. The city was facing ecological collapse, and they didn't just work harder. They learned to live smarter and way more sustainably. At the heart of this whole shift was the concept of motainai. It's this deep cultural wisdom: regret waste, repair what's broken, and be satisfied with just enough. And this wasn't just about recycling wood and paper. It was a philosophy that they applied to their most precious resource, their own human energy. Which leaves us with a final, kind of lingering question. In our chemically fueled race for more productivity, a race that forces us to just ignore our own biology, what are we actually trying to win? And you have to wonder, is it really worth the price we pay?